Okay, take two. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a VNA that's connected, and it's set for the 20 through 6 meter band, and it's set for fairly quick, only 100 points, sample points there, and we're going to go through, and I want to show you what this antenna is doing, which I believe we have a problem. I have my guess, but I won't. Let's see here. We need to go, and first thing we're going to do is go to setup, calibrate the antenna, and you can watch what happens. And you can see that the VNA is updating it as the antenna's moving the tape in and out. And we're still moving. I don't know if that's normal. That it looks like that the and that looks like it's adjusting back to where it was set at 28.325. Okay, gonna go back to setup, and we're gonna go to the create modify, select that menu, and we're going to select, let's say we'll start out with 22, segment 22. And so you see that this is pretty short. It's at 2.4, it's the length of the antenna, and we're on switch 1, which I assume is no call. So if you'll watch the VNA as I move this through the full length, and I'm going to slowly move this through, and this is kind of what I would expect. You see the dip there moving over to about 46, although it's not as deep as I would have probably expected to see the Q be. I would have expected a more uniform, well, I would have expected that dip to come across there more uniform, but it's still a very respectable SWR. Now this is kind of strange here as we continue to move through the band. It doesn't really, my wave, the trough in the wave does not do what I would really expect. So that may be a hint to you guys of something that you can figure out what's going on there. And you can see that back around 50 megahertz there at 118, we've got a pretty low dip happening over there as well. And one can only assume that we are a multiple of that wavelength. And unfortunately, I just have a mini VNA, so we have to take this slow. The sweep time is pretty slow. So I'm kind of assuming if you did not have a coil added to this, that this would be basically all you would get with the antenna without the coil. Okay, so we've maxed it out. So I'm going to run this back down to 2.4, and then I'm going to switch over to switch position number 2, and we're going to do the same thing over, hopefully, whatever you need to know. And you can see I'm running this back as quick as we can to get back over. And you can see our VNA waveform is, I guess I could probably change that to move 10 at a time and get us back. Okay, so we will be back at 2.4, and we're going to switch to switch number 2. Okay, now in switch number 2, we'll run this up again, still in the same position with the VNA. And then I'm going to run through this pretty quick because I think we want to probably go down to lower frequencies. Now that we're moving 10 at a time now. And it doesn't seem to be affecting the higher frequencies. We're maxed out again. Okay, so next I'm going to change the VNA frequency and run this thing all over again. Run it back. And while it's running back, I'll change the VNA. I'm going to go from 1 megahertz to 30 megahertz. Okay, so we're back at 2.4, and this is 1 to 30, and you can see the SWR is maybe 50 to 1 in certain parts of the band down on the low end. And we're going to change this one at a time, nice and slow. And So as you can see, nowhere on the lower end of the band are we got a good SWR anywhere. Now we're in the 21 megahertz 15 meter part, which would still be part of the antenna without the coil, and that reaches close to 2 to 1. At this point, we seem to be over about the 60 meter band, making a change as the SWR is going sky high. But I'm not seeing it come down anywhere else. Try to square this up a little bit. And that's the end of the band. So we'll go back, bring it back to 0. Actually 2.4. And you can watch it as it returns. And now we're back at 2.3, and this is on switch position number 3. VNA still set up the same way. I have, again, I have 19 radios um, out. Each one of the radios is approximately 8 meters long. The radios are not touching ground anywhere. The ends of the wire have been, they have a coating on the end to prevent them from the bare wires touching the ground. And my ground plate is sitting on an insulated mount underneath the antenna, and it is tied to the port that is marked ground, which really should say radio connection, since I don't think you want it going to ground from talking to you guys. So the radios are not grounded anywhere. They are connected to the terminal there. The terminal on the motor drive for the ground is left open. It's not connected anywhere. Still in the lower bands, we have nothing that's usable. And the equipment here is Flex 6700 and a 6400 tied to the Flex Power Genius amp. So the Power Genius amp will not run at an SWR higher than 2.5. It'll shut it. It'll cut back and eventually shut itself off. So it likes the SWR under 2. And I have not tried transmitting on this antenna yet because of the problems that we have. Okay, that's the end of 3. We're gonna run back and get number 4 here. And you can see it as it comes back full speed. And we're back. Switch number 4. And again, let's run it through its paces. Seems that we're only moving that one section. Everything else seems to be rock solid. over halfway there. So I don't know, guys. So we're at the end of that one. Let's take it all the way back. Okay, so switch number 4. Let's run it. Or did we already do that one? I think we already did that one. Switch number 5. And let's go back to switch number 5, move that over, and run this up. And by the way, the connection is from the VNA through a coax selector switch, going out through the wall using a through the wall connector, then into a polyphaser, and then through about 35 feet of coax that's run underground to the antenna. And that will be, if you missed it, that description will be in the email. I'll describe the entire setup for you. So it's nighttime here in Florida, so it's not sunny right now, but we've had a gorgeous day. It's about to be the 1st of February here. It's January 30th, and it was absolutely gorgeous out today. short sleeve weather. And I know I think I got this thing back in October, and we didn't get it put up until Christmas. So we had to wait for my son to come in to give me a hand digging the hole, putting the trenches in, and then after he left, I finished up the final, putting everything together after all the hard work was done. And the screwy thing is that the only thing that appears to be moving is that segment that's between about 4 and 6 megahertz. And again, this is only 100 points, and we did that so that this slow VNA would sweep a lot faster, and we wouldn't be waiting 10 seconds for it to run 1,000 or more points. Oop, now we're starting to see, on 5, we're starting to see the SWR come down finally. Still, it's like 21 to 1, and we're at the end there. So let's run that thing back. And we'll see it run back. Then we'll do the last one. This will be switch number 6 coming up. By the way, the 19 radials was 500 feet of wire. I bought a roll of 500 foot 16 gauge MTW wire. Okay. Number 6. Switch number 6. Now this one seems to be, we're just, we're in 40 meter band there, and it's about 12 to 1. Got down to not quite 4 to 1. Now we just cleared 4 to 1, and now we're going back up. And we're out of band with the notch right now. And this coil number, position number 6, seems to be very narrow banded. A little bit of adjustment in the length of the antenna seems to make a big difference, which I would expect. And we went through 60 meters and there was nothing usable there. So even on number 6, we're starting to see some change in the 80-meter band as we get close to the end of the antenna. There's 21 to 1, not 2.1, but 21 to 1 as we max out. And that's it, guys. I'll be looking forward to your response. Thank you very much. Neat technology.